Let's turn now to John Zogby for more on the state of the U.S. economy. He is a longtime pollster and political analyst and founder of John Zogby Strategy. So, John, unemployment, as we mentioned, is at a record low. So, who gets the credit for that? Is that Donald Trump or the Democrats? And how does that impact voters' decisions?
Oh, the man at the top always gets the credit, just like the man at the top always gets the blame. And this is something that definitely is in President Trump's favor right now. We see it in the polling. Widespread problems that the president has, negative coverage on TV, a lot of that he generates for himself. However, when you look at the polling, what you see is both nationally and in the key battleground states, he's running even against any of the major Democratic opponents. He's being bolstered to a great degree by this good economy.
Well, talk about that economy for us, if you can. Do you see that maintaining until Election Day? And
Wow.
Is that more important to voters than some of the other issues that we hear about, especially here in Washington, when there's this sort of echo chamber with talks of impeachment?
So the economy is always important. It's not the only thing, but it's always important. And so understand in this context that you have about 80 to 82% of Americans whose minds are already made up. Donald Trump or Democrats, love him, hate him, impeach, not impeach. And that's about evenly split. And so the battle now is for, say, the other 1/5 of the voters. And when we look at those 1/5, what we see is that an ace in the hole that Democrats have had, millennials, for example, and now a new group, Gen Z, those who are about 18 to 25 years of age, voting for the first time. We're starting to see in polls, not that Donald Trump is winning among those two groups, but that he's doing better than Republicans normally can expect to do. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that these young people now are working. They are possibly have a path to employment. And for those who are in college or studying a trade, there's a sense that, hey, there may be a job out there. And that's a very powerful thing.
Staying on the economy, how much will the U.S.-China trade war impact the race, the economy? We know that small business owners have been speaking out about that. We have this global economic slowdown, the new North American trade agreement. So we have all these factors playing into the U.S. economy. And then we have some Trump supporters who, when they voted for him in 2016, they've been impacted by the trade war. Do you think he will maintain their support in 2020? And how much will these other issues play into it?
Right now, he's bleeding a bit, in the Midwest, among farmers, among auto workers, among consumers in general. But the bottom line here is that there are other factors that people will vote on, not the least of which is who's going to run against Donald Trump. And that's the sort of thing that we hear all the time, particularly among undecided voters and those, just who haven't made up their minds yet. I don't care for Donald Trump, but I want to see who he's running against. If he's running against someone who's perceived as too far to the left or not credible enough, that could be a problem for the Democrats.
And John, we're seeing these unemployment numbers, but we're also seeing this divide grow larger between the haves and the have-nots. What about Trump's plan for jobs, and how does that different than what you're hearing from some of the Democratic candidates?
I don't think anybody likes, that is among those who are undecided, among Democrats, likes Donald Trump's plan. It was a tax cut mainly for the wealthy and for corporations. It's not so much that folks are in love with Donald Trump, but those who may be wavering like the fact that he's seems to be talking trash, talking tough at the establishment and the elite. And these days, the Democrats are likely to be considered that elite. And that's what hurts them, and one of the things that makes this, at this point in time anyway, competitive. You had asked earlier about down the road, what happens to the economy. I don't know. Something has to break at some point. The natural boom and bust cycle, the market is highly overcapitalized and inflated at the moment. Whether or not it will happen before the election, I don't know.
John Zogby, great insight. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.